In one of the more unexpected outcomes of week 3, Tennessee falls to Florida 29-16. Now, on paper, I think a lot of people were expecting this to be an aired out game for Tennessee, that they were going to put up a ton of points, that they were going to use this as a momentum builder after a slow start to the 2023 season. And instead, it's the complete opposite. This is a building block for Billy Napier in Florida after they started the season with a bit of a rough opening against Utah. They ran the ball really well, mistake-free. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I think my biggest takeaway from this game, we're not going to get what we expected from Joe Milton. Rather, I think that the general public assumed that Joe Milton was going to be this Heisman quality player because Hendon Hooker did it last year in the same offense. Well, Jalen Hyatt is not there anymore. They don't have that full group of receivers. Darnell Wright is gone. But most importantly, one of the things that I brought up this offseason is that Joe Milton is a guy with a huge arm. He's a really good athlete. But a lot of times those guys with really just massive arms, the biggest arm in the country, guys like that tend to lack touch. They tend to lack timing. And that showed up to full effect in this game. I mean, that interception that he threw is a really good example of him just not having that processing ability, that timing, that touch, all that stuff, again, showed up so much in this game. Tennessee can only go so far if the quarterback position is not operating at full efficiency. And I think that this is not the point where we need to come out and say, bench him for Nico Iamaleava, the freshman, but instead is the first step in that direction. If he puts out more performances like this against SEC caliber opponents, if he continues to do this, play like this, eventually you do have to turn that page. You do eventually have to give the opportunity to a guy that might be better suited and better equipped to succeed in this offense. I don't know what Nico is going to look like. We haven't really been given the opportunity to discover what he can do. But when you watch Dante Moore and Jane Rashada got hurt, but when those two guys start their seasons really well and they look really good as true freshmen, and Iamaleava is supposed to be equally as talented as those guys, you kind of wonder, well, if Joe Milton can't get the job done, why can't this true freshman go out there and do a decent job? I think that they have the run game that you could do that you could rely on your running backs and then turn to him when you need him to throw and make plays in games. But we're at this point, though, eventually, I think in the next two starts for Milton, if he struggles again, they're going to need to make that switch because they cannot succeed with him. It's very clear and apparent, a Florida team that they could have very well have beaten in this game, that he struggled the way that he did. 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, 20 for 34. Not a very good stat line. Thoughts on Florida, though? I think that what we saw, and one of the things I said coming into this game, if you play mistake-free football, unlike the Utah game, if you play a clean game and you run the ball well, you can beat most of these SEC teams because the SEC is struggling this year. Trevor Etienne had an amazing game. And if you can lean on him and the other backs in your backfield, you can pull out some unexpected victories. I don't know what that final ceiling is for Florida. I think that Florida is one of the biggest question marks in the SEC. I am unwilling to commit a projection to their win total because we get two different Floridas depending on the opponent. The Utah version is the young, inexperienced, mistake-prone, penalty-filled team. And the one against Tennessee is an 8-win team, a bowl-competing team. And I said this, final thought here, that Florida fans, you have to be patient. Billy Napier is going to get this team right, and I think that this game is a first step in the right direction. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Bet Online for all of your sports betting needs. For anything that I do betting related, I go on over to betonline.ag and I use promo code BELIEVE50. BetOnline has all of the latest updated odds for the NFL and college football seasons. Anything you need, whether it's futures, live in-game betting, no matter what, your football betting needs are met at BetOnline. And again, make sure you use that promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50 to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.